Good morning. So you have your upcoming skeleton test. So I just want to go through all of the different bones and bone sets that you're going to be tested on and needing to know. I'll start from top to bottom. I'm not going to go from right to left like the paper. But some of us are, going to be better at learning by hearing and seeing rather than writing it down and taking notes. So it's just another way that we can learn and practice before we need to take our test. So we'll start at the very top. We have our cranium, which is what we commonly call our skull, and our mandible, right, moves up and down, which we call our jawbone. Connected to our cranium, we have our 5 bones that make up what we call our neck. Those are our upper vertebrae, and then they connect all the way down to our tailbone. Those are our vertebral column. So we have our upper vertebrae, our vertebral column, which leads us into the large piece of the arrowhead, right? So the large piece is the sacrum, and the very tip, the tailbone itself, is the coccyx. Cranium, mandible, upper vertebrae, vertebral column, sacrum, coccyx. Then you can see your rib cage connects to the back of the vertebral column all the way around to the front. On the back of that, then, you have your 2 scapulas, which we call our shoulder blades. Turn Billy Bob Bones back around here. So with our scapulas on your paper, you see that it points through and it's touching your shoulder blade, your scapula. Those are connected to your rib cage, multiple ribs that are fragile bones, these outside ones. Holding your rib cage together right in the center, that is your sternum. So we have our rib cage, we have our sternum, scapula, and then our clavicle, which holds the scapula up to the rib cage, gives us the framework of our shoulder. Our clavicle, which we commonly call our collarbone. Going to our arm then, we'll start down with our fingers. So our fingers are upper phalanges. Right, so our upper phalanges, they start from the end of our palm going up to the tips of our fingers. The palm itself are metacarpals. And then our wrist that lets us move them around are our carpals. And one of the ways I said you can remember that is that we can move our our hand like a fish, which is a carp is a type of fish. Those are our carpals. We have radius on top. Radius is always connected to the thumb. Our ulna is on bottom, always connected to our pinky. If I turn my arm around, once again, my radius, my thumb are still connected, my ulna, my pinky are still connected. And then my long arm bone with the ball pointing into the scapula, that is my humerus. So we have a little saying to remember those. Are you funny? Radius, ulna, humerus. So we have radius, ulna, humerus, carpals, metacarpals, upper phalanges. We started our hips going down then. So our hip bones that point out are the very front of our pelvic girdle. Our pelvic girdle are 2 large bones that cup and hold our innards together, our large intestines, our small intestines, our liver, our stomach, all of those important organs. Right? So 2 bones, pelvic girdle, which leads us into our legs. So our longest bone in our body, the ball goes into the joint, so it points in. This is our femur. Our femur is a place where we make red blood cells. Connects right into the pelvic girdle. We have our patella that connects right over our lower leg and our upper leg. So our patella is our one floating bone that we have. We call it a kneecap. And then as you can see, we have one big bone in the front. We call it a shin, but that is my tibia. And then we have the little one that is on the outside. So the tibia is always on the inside. The fibula, the smaller one, is always on the outside. Thursday comes before Friday. Inside, outside. Which takes me to my feet. So just like my carpals, but now I have tarsals. My ankle bones are my tarsals. One of my largest ones is the one that makes up my heel. The palm part of my foot are my metatarsals, and then my toes are my lower phalanges. So lower phalanges, metatarsals, tarsals, tibia, fibula, knee is patella, femur, pelvic girdle, upper phalanges, metacarpals, carpals, are you funny, radius, ulna, humerus, pelvic girdle, coccyx at the bottom, sacrum, the large part of the arrowhead, vertebral column, connected to it, rib cage, sternum, scapula is on the back, clavicle is on the front. Remember that shoulder blades, scapula go together. S's. On the front you have clavicle and collarbone, C's go together. Upper vertebrae, mandible, cranium. Your 4 joints that you need to know, ball and socket, are located in your shoulders because there's a ball at the end of my humerus. There's also located in my hips because there's a ball at the end of my femur. They go into, always into the body. So the humerus balls go into the sockets of the scapulas. The femur balls go into the sockets of the pelvic girdles. I have my hinges because my arm is designed to move one way. Our ulnas have a little hook on them that prevent our arms from being able to hyperextend beyond where it's supposed to. If it does, we got a problem. So hinge joints are my elbows and my knees. I've got my gliding, right? They let me move in all directions, which are my wrists and my ankles. And then I have my pivot, which are all of my upper vertebrae and vertebral column because they let me turn back and forth, going forward, backwards. So 24 bones and bone sets, 4 different joints.